Hello everyone, my name is Francesco and I'm here with Kahoe Tutors. Today, we'd like to show you what we found is the best method for dividing that you should show your students. So, once again, it will be extremely helpful if your student has their multiplication tables memorized before they try to attempt these problems. So make sure you review that with them before you start on something like this. So we'll start with the first example right here, 48 divided by 6. Now, make sure they know how to set it up. The number that goes first should go inside a box, and the number on the outside should go outside the box. This is similar to subtraction in the sense that the bigger number always has to go first. Well, for division, the bigger number always has to go inside the box. Otherwise, you can't divide. So let's get started. In order to divide, you should always tell your student to ask himself, can 6 go into that first number here, 4? Well, 6 is greater than 4, so it can't go into it. So when that happens, you have to take a look at the next place value and take both of those numbers into consideration. So can 6 go into 48? Now remember, going into means, can you multiply 6 times some number to get to 48 or as close to 48 without going over? So this one works perfectly because 6 goes into 48 evenly. There's no remainder. If your student isn't very good at their 6 tables, so you can tell them to start with 5. 5 is always a good number to start with because it's right in the middle. They can go lower if they need to, or they can go higher, but they won't have to go all the way from 1 to 10. So they can try 5. Well, 6 times 5 is 30. You could go a lot higher than that. And they can keep trying one by one if they need to. 6, 7, then 8. 6 times 8 is 48. So what they should do is they should write the number that they chose right on top of the last number that we have underlined here. So an 8 on top of the 8, and then you multiply these two. 8 times 6 is 48. You write the 48 underneath, and then you subtract. 48 minus 48 is 0. So since there's no remainder, your answer is just 8. That's the general concept of how you want to approach these problems. Now some of them will have a remainder, like the next example, 97 divided by 3. So again, make sure they're setting it up correctly, and then they can start. Does 3 go into 9? Well, yeah, because 9 is higher. So 3 times 3 is 9. They'll write the 3 right here on top of the number they're dividing by. And then they'll multiply these two. 3 times 3 is 9. Write it underneath and subtract. 9 minus 9 is 0. So then there's another number right here. When there's another number, they should bring it down with an arrow. And now they are dividing with this. So can 3 go into 7? Yes, it can. By how much? Twice. 2 times 3 is 6. And 7 minus 6 is 1. Now, if there is no number left here in the box that they can bring down, that means they're done dividing. And this number is their remainder. So the answer is 32 with a remainder of 1. In elementary school, they'll usually ask them to write the remainder off to the side. Once they get into middle school or high school, then they may ask them to keep dividing until there is no remainder, but this video won't cover that. Now, these are the basics. Go ahead and try the next example with your student and see how that goes. Let's try the last example. So, like before, make sure they put the bigger number inside the box and the smaller number on the outside. So they should always start by asking themselves, can 5 go into 3? Well, no, it can't because 3 is smaller than 5. So they're not going to put anything there. They're going to move on to the next number and take both numbers into account. So now you're dividing 37. Can 5 go into 37? Yeah, because 37 is higher. And 5 goes into 37 7 times. You're going to put the 7 on top of the number that they're dividing. So 7 on top of the 7. And then they have to multiply these two. 7 times 5 is 35. They'll write it on the bottom. And they'll subtract. 37 minus 35 is 2. So we'll put a 2 there. Now since there's still a number here, they have to divide that as well. They're going to drop the 5 down, and now they're dividing by 25. Does 5 go into 25? Yes, it goes in evenly, 5 times. And then you write the 5 on top of the number you're dividing by, and you multiply. 5 times 5 is 25. Write it below, subtract, and this one has no remainder. That's all there is to it.